Alright, welcome back everyone. It's been quite a hot minute since I uploaded last. I think it's been 33, maybe 34 days. But I've been active on the realm, just not uploading. I don't know why. I just didn't feel motivated to, but now I want to give an update and also do a little project today. First of all, I want to start off with like a base tour because as you can see, I've done quite a bit since I last uploaded. I think with my last upload we just did this cliff section here and then like the flowers on top. But as you can see, yeah, we've got a lot of new stuff. So first of all, I've started a path that's going to go from, it's going to connect everyone's bases. So it's going to start over here. It's going to go all the way over there to the other side of the realm. I'm kind of waiting for some people to get more like permanent settlements. That way I can figure out exactly which path I want to take for the path, like when I'm making it. But for now, that's just going to end at my base. Otherwise, we have added a lot of cliffs in here. A little waterfall that's going to eventually, once I get down to this entire section, it's going to run off into the lake that we have down here. Obviously some flower fields. It's pretty easy to get poppies from an iron farm, so I like to use them for decoration. We got a couple wheat fields, which mainly are just for a pop of color, some yellow. We got some benches, and then lots of lanterns, because I don't like to fight mobs. Also, I think a creeper blew up my path over there at some point, so I like to just keep it lit up. Anyways, there also is a little bit that I have done at the house. One of my favorite things that I've done is show you here. Before, to get up to my house, I'd have to do like some, parkour up the side of this mountain right here. But recently, I guess not recently, probably like 15 days ago, maybe 2 weeks, I added a staircase that goes just from the path up onto this like grassy part, and then another staircase that goes up to the house. That way I don't have to, maneuver along this cliffside here. That is something I will talk about in a second, because we have changed some things in here. All these rooms are the same. In here, we have changed quite a bit. At least, as you might be able to tell, we have some auto sorting capacity now. We put in our items here. Some copper golems back there will sort through it. We've got some empty chests just so that when we get more items, I can just sort them out through these chests instead of having to figure out places in these chests to put them. This is our overflow, so anything that's not going to go in those chests will go into this barrel. And then we have a bulk storage down here, so it's going to be where like all my cobblestone and stone and dirt will go, just because you end up accumulating a lot of it. This is just temporary storage, so disregard that. Anyways, this is the same. Now this is all new in here. As you can see, we got a staircase, but this used to be like my temporary storage, so those chests used to be in here. But this is now a staircase. We have a little, I want to say like Harry Potter house under the stairs. And eventually, I think I'm going to have like a little access to the copper golem sorting system back there in case something breaks. And then also I will have a secret that goes down here, but I won't say what it is yet because that's a future plan. Got a little painting here. Just think it looks cool. It's a little bit of extra color. Anyways, now we have a second story, which is still a work in progress. We have what's going to be my room. That's why it's going to have a door, just so I can have like a cool sign on it, be like, keep out. This is my room. This will be a hangar, kind of. That's the best way to describe it. You can hear that happy gas, and if you go back, you can see I have a little happy gas platform. So this is going to be like, we're going to have some maps and some compasses and, like maybe like a chest of rockets. Just stuff that I would need for exploring. And that could be where I use my elytra to fly out from too, if I'm not going to be using a happy gas. This room, I'm thinking will be like a map room. So I have like a table and then just a map of the entire realm. But none of these are final, other than my room. If I get a better idea, I'll probably do that instead. And then this will eventually probably be its own room as well, but it does have a walkway to the stairs that were outside. So instead of having to walk through my house every time I want to go to the second floor, I can just use these stairs to get up there. Anyways, I think that's about it for the base tour section. Done a lot of stuff, so I mean, it makes sense. It's been 33 days, but actually, I think that reminds me. Oh, I can now get rid of this sign because I am about to upload. Anyways, the project I want to do for today, actually I think it's better just to show you guys what I would want to do. I want to prepare for a future project. You can see this little outline of the warped block. I forgot what it's called. This is where I want to mine this cliff back to, because eventually I want to do a custom cliff that's going to fit in right here. It's going to have a custom waterfall that leads down to the water right here. So this will be where the water starts, and then I'm thinking at the top, and obviously this isn't all going to be in one video. I think today we're just going to do the mining. But eventually, when I get around to it, I want to have a hot springs at the top. That's the source of the water. Okay, excuse you. Anyways, that's the plan for today. And we have elytra. We're gonna steal this beacon here real quick. I don't have my own yet, so I'm just taking other people's until I eventually get enough motivation to get my own beacon. Anyways, today I wanted to talk about procrastination, which I know is pretty ironic considering the upload schedule since the last video. I think I need, yes. And if you couldn't tell, I am a big procrastinator, pretty much with everything, not just uploading videos. Whether it's schoolwork or just things that I have to do, in life, I'm always procrastinating on them. And I couldn't tell you why, for sure. I remember the very first video on the channel, I kind of talked about perfectionism. And I think that's a big part of it. But I also think it might also just be that, I'm afraid of... oops, sorry. My game paused. I don't know what that was. I'm also afraid of failing, right? So, I'll start something, and I'll just think about, okay, I'm back. I got interrupted by my dog. Anyways, as I was saying, ooh, there's powdered snow here. I kind of get afraid of failing, and it helps discourage me even further. And I've always been like this. I feel like I've always been very... how do you describe someone who's procrastinating? I've always been a procrastinator, is what I'm trying to say. Ever since I was a kid. Oh my goodness. Can't hit my shots. And it's kind of something that I've never really... Every year in school, I would always tell myself, oh, this year I'm gonna get all my homework done on time, and just get it done when I get it, that way I don't have to worry about it. But I never do. And every year I end up waiting until the last day or two to do my assignments. And that's just with school. With things in my everyday life, I'm also very neglectful of. For example, it's the end of the year recently, so my car registration was expiring, and instead of just doing it as soon as I thought about it, I kind of waited. Wait, there's so many mobs. I should probably just light up the cave. They're interrupting me. He's still hitting me. Anyways. And I waited until like January 1st to pay my registration, which was the deadline. So, um, and I was kind of stressing about it, and it's something where I could just easily relieve myself of all that stress if I just did it when I thought of it, instead of waiting until, like the last day to do something. But recently, and I think this has been a topic of one of the other videos maybe, um, I've just been a lot better about, first thing, right, if you struggle with procrastination, break your tasks up, because it makes it a lot easier, especially um, if you're very anxious of like the size of the project you're doing or the task you have to do, right? If you have a lot of homework and you just like afraid to start it because it's a lot of work, just break it up into small tasks, right? I've been doing some college classes recently because it just started up about a month ago or 2 weeks ago, something like that, maybe 3 weeks. Anyways, point is that college classes started up for me, and I have been very good about doing my stuff on time. There you are. But I've been very good about doing my stuff on time, and basically what I've been doing is just, if I have like 8 assignments due in a week, although I think it's closer to 10 usually, I'll just pick a day and say, okay, today I'm going to do 2, maybe 3 assignments, and then I'll push through those, and then I'll say, okay, that's enough, right? And I'll just stop working. I won't do any more homework that day, and I'll just take the rest of that day to relax. And by pacing myself, it's made it a lot easier to, instead of on the last day of the week having 4 or 5 assignments that I haven't done still, I end up with like 1 assignment, and it's usually an easy assignment that I leave for last. That way I don't have to worry about it. And it's been honestly just so much better. Like, I would completely recommend it for anyone who's struggled with this sort of thing, because it really helps. And I honestly, I've been feeling so much better about it too. Like, in general, I've been feeling better since I started doing, like, just taking the time to do like all that work each day, because I'm still doing the same amount of work that I would do on the last day, right, before it's due, but that way I'm not stressing. And honestly, there's been a lot of times where I will sacrifice my sleep to get all the stuff done that I've been procrastinating, and that's not the good. That's not the good. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. That's not good. Because honestly, you should be treating yourself right, and staying up until like 2 a.m. to do classwork that you should have done a week ago is not treating yourself right. And honestly, like, this just applies. Like I said, it applies in real life, or like not just at school, right? Like, honestly, like, for example, I will say, I haven't uploaded on my single-player world in honestly a long time. I feel like it's been a pretty long time since I uploaded, and even since I played on that world, it's been a long time, because I kind of want to do a big project, but like, I want to build a mountain, right, which is a huge undertaking. And honestly, let me put my elytra on for some faster climbs. Yeah, building a mountain is a insane task, especially in Minecraft. And the scale I want to do it at too is pretty insane. I don't know what Y level I'm supposed to be at, but I'm assuming I need to go lower. Yeah. And honestly, I've just been very discouraged from playing my single-player world recently. In fact, it's funny, because when I started that world, because I started on my new PC, and I was just like, I very much just wanted to play on that world, like, I don't want to sound cringy, but like forever, right? Like I wanted it to be a world that I could like start building on and then see like my building improve and stuff. And I'm already considering like starting a new world, which I think is fine. Like, I mean, yeah, it sucks a little bit because I put a lot of time into that other world. But it's not necessarily that I won't play that world. It's just that, you know, I kind of want to do other things instead of just that. But yeah, I've been procrastinating on that mountain. I've kind of started building like a little bit in a creative world, but I really like. It's been like maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months since I uploaded on that world, and I have not done 2 to 3 months worth of work on that mountain. So, but honestly, I've also just been enjoying the realm more because it's. I feel like there's. Oh, speaking of which, I want to talk about this in terms of procrastination. Let me just put my bed up in my bedroom. Having other people check your progress too. Like, for example, right, on this world, I feel like I'm much more inclined to get stuff done because there's other people, right? You know, like, if my base was still just the first floor or just like these 4 rooms right here, I would probably be pretty embarrassed because everyone else's bases are coming along pretty nicely. And so I feel embarrassed, but having everyone else just like, even though they're not actively, you know, coming to my base and saying, oh, yours is like nothing compared to ours, right? Even just like having them active on the realm, I feel like it encourages me to put in some work on my base. Like, I want them to see my progress too, and so it helps me stay motivated. So, like, and this can apply to anything, right? Like, let's go back to like the homework example. If you have homework that's due, and you know you're a procrastinator, tell your mom or tell your dad, or you know, tell someone. Be like, go up to them and just say, "Hey, I've got some homework due. Like, don't let me procrastinate," and then have them check in with you. Because honestly, oh, wandering trader. Because honestly, like, I feel like embarrassment is a very good form of motivation, right? Because now if your parent or whoever you told comes into your room and is like, "Oh, have you done that homework?" and you say no, like, I mean, maybe not embarrassment, but it's some kind of emotion where it's like you don't want to let them down, and so it helps encourage. Oh, a fight here. But it helps encourage them, or helps encourage you to get your stuff done on time. I don't really want any of this. Why look at me like that? Anyways, messing with me when I'm trying to build my mountain or my little cliff. We've actually done a lot really quickly. Haste 2's wonderful. But yeah, so have someone, you know, keep track of your own progress. That way you're more inclined to do your stuff on time. But yeah, and it's like, also I feel like a part of it too is just like short-term, like your short-term benefit, right? How do I describe this? Like, sometimes when I procrastinate, it's not really because, like, sometimes it's just because I don't want to do it, right? Like if I have homework, sometimes I'll be like, well, actually these don't need to go in here. Anyways, like, sometimes when I procrastinate, it's not really out of like it's not really any other reason than I just don't want to do it. And that's not very common, but it does happen to me sometimes. That being said, actually, we can sort this too. And I think both of those. Not the arrow. Just gonna put all this in here, that way I don't have to come back out for it. I'll take some food. Like I was saying, right? Sometimes you just don't want to do something, and I feel like it's important to reward yourself, right? Like, for example, you know, back in high school, I wouldn't ever, you know, like I said, I would wait till like the last minute to do my homework. And it's mainly because I just didn't want to do it. And it's something to do with your short-term gain versus long-term gain, right? Like short-term gain, like I could play Minecraft instead of doing homework, right? And then long-term gain, or gain, not game, too distracted by video games. But like long-term gain is like, oh, you know, I'm doing this homework will help keep my grades up, which helps me get into college, helps me, you know, like you can think pretty far ahead with this. But I feel like I'm very bad at judging short-term versus long-term gain. Gah, gain. I keep saying game. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyways, I always generally seem to prioritize the short. I give up, bro. I can't even speak. I'm saying turn, game, everything I'm not supposed to be saying. But as I was saying, I always choose to pick the short-term gain. I got it right this time. I'm proud of me. And it's not really the greatest idea to do that because, like I said, you end up with, you know, these issues where you are stressing yourself out over nothing that you could have, or it's not nothing, but it's something you could have done actively to prevent, you know, all of that stress from happening. But yeah, but give yourself rewards, right? Like, something that's very much helped with me is, like, I will, when I'm doing these assignments, like some of my assignments are like an hour plus, or maybe like, I think like 2 hours. So what I'll do, right, is obviously, I don't enjoy it. Like, I mean, it's something I like to do, but it's not, you know, homework's not something that most people want to do, even willingly. But what I'll do is I'll just say, okay, look, I'm gonna do this homework for an hour, and then I will take, you know, 10 minutes to just, you know, play a game of Counter-Strike, or, you know, just doing something to help keep me motivated, right? Like, just a little prize for myself. And so it helps me, like, kind of associate. Now I'm like, okay, if I do an hour of homework, you know, I get to reward myself with, you know, a quick game of, you know, like I said, Counter-Strike or something, and it really helps my brain kind of make these connections. It's like, if I do my homework, I get to have this like reward, right? So it's like, it's almost like I'm training myself like a dog, which I know sounds weird, but it's like, you know, like, I'll say like, oh, I'll give you a treat if you do your homework. That's basically what I'm doing to myself, and it's been working a lot. It feels weird now to compare myself to a dog, but that's the best example I could think of. But yeah, and so, okay, I kind of want to, like, I'm fine with the progress we've made here. I just want to make sure that before I end it, I want to have, like, an entire chunk. That way it's not, like, this weird, like, Tetris puzzle of blocks that are still here. I can't, see, this is the problem with parkouring on the mountain. That's why I added a staircase, is because it's so hard to move around. Anyways, we collect all the stuff. But that's about it. That's all I wanted to talk about, really. This is mainly just a filler video because I want to do a different style of video for the next one, which is just going to be making this cliff, and then also I'm going to be adding a little forest down on this section, like below the waterfall right here. It's going to be a different style of video, just because I kind of get burnt out, and there's only so many topics I can really discuss. So, you know, I want to try something new that I think will be fun. It's going to be more of like a building focused video, not just a talking video. But yeah, that's mainly all I wanted to talk about, and as soon as I mine these last few blocks here, which I think this is everything. And that will be it for today's video. I feel like I kind of rambled on a little bit at sometimes, but yeah, that's how it is. You know, if I'm not using a script or anything, it's just kind of off the top of my head. And I feel like maybe I'm getting better at talking off the top of my head. I've always had an issue where my thoughts move faster than I can speak, and so like I'll get sidetracked very easily. But yeah, so next video, expect some cool additions to the base, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Ooh.